Yeah, so, the first thing he talks about is getting the education, understanding the brain science. It sounds like that's where you're at. And once you understand that, oh, okay, there's actually nothing damaged
Right.
inside of me, right? There's
Right.
no physical damage. Like I remember, when I was dealing with long COVID recently, um, I had this, the constant tinnitus, for example. And I thought, okay, I know it's neuroplastic. I know this is just my nervous system responding with all the other symptoms, but I'll do my diligence and I'll just go to the audiologist and have everything ticked off. And it was really more for me for my brain to really believe 100%. And that's what our topic is today, about beliefs. And this is one of the things you can do. And, he calls it ruling in and ruling out. So I thought, okay, if I go to the audiologist and I have my ear tested and I can rule that out, there's definitely nothing damaged in my ear that's creating this constant tinnitus, right? So then I use that information. So when I was doing the somatic tracking for tinnitus, which I highly recommend for all your symptoms, okay, is go to somatic tracking. It's so amazing. I use that rigorously throughout my 12-month recovery of long COVID. So once I knew that information, I'd say to my brain, see, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong in my ear. I know this is just my nervous system. So I'm okay. Okay. And before long, just doing that repetitively, before long, the tinnitus was gone
Yep.
because I wasn't fearing it anymore. So it sounds like
Right.
that's what you're saying, that you're not fearing your symptoms so
Yeah.
much. Is that right, Laurel?
That's right. I've gotten really good at just kind of allowing them to be there in the background and trying to just do do my life. Um,
Mhm.
because before I would be fearful, I'd be researching like 2 or 3 hours a day. I'd be
Oh
trying
my
to
goodness,
I'd be
really?
trying to get rid of them. And that,
Wow.
even though I thought that was going to be helpful, it was the opposite.
It creates more fear, doesn't it?
Yeah, I was
The more you
definitely
search, the
making
more you look, the more you tests you
exactly.
have done. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now
Yeah.
that I
Yeah.
just allow them, I find the more I allow them and invite them in, the faster they just go. And I know
Good.
it's
Good.
just because my limbic system isn't afraid of them anymore.
That's it. That's it. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
so glad that you got to that part, and if
Yeah.
you consistently do that and continue to do that, oh my goodness, really
I've come a
that's what
really
turns
long
it.
ways with it, for sure.
Oh, fantastic. He
Yeah.
loves to get emails, um,
Oh,
people giving him feedback. So by all means, please do
okay.
that. Let him know. Look,
Oh, I
because of
will.
your,
That's a good idea.
you know, yeah, yeah, he just loves that. He talks about it in our training and he
Okay.
really enjoys it. So share that with him. So yeah, so for anybody who hasn't Unlearn Your Pain, that's the newest one. It has oh, it's got my name in the back. My goodness,
Mhm.
it's got my name in the back.
Oh, I know.
For all the people that have benefited from his work.
Mhm.
He invited them to message him and he's popped them all in the back. So research is in there. A lot of like Rob was asking about the practical, how is there some practical tools? Yes, they're all in there. And the
Yeah.
workbook as well, Laurel, which was the
Yeah.
original one, the earlier one. You can also get this on audio book for anyone who finds, reading difficult. The audiobook's really good because you can just listen to, 10 minutes and then I haven't told him that I fall asleep as soon as I start listening to it. So,
He's got a
but
nice
I,
calm voice, doesn't he?
yes,
Yeah.
and I do that with all books anyway, because I tend to read them
Oh,
in the evening. By that time,
okay.
I'm tired. So it's my sleep time reading.
Yeah.
Okay, so this topic of belief. Wow, really fascinating, right? Well, I'm not sure. Is it fascinating for you guys? Has anybody else done any belief work or thought that, gee, has my belief playing a part in my recovery? Is it getting in the way of my recovery? Could it be help my recovery? Has anybody done any work? I'm interested in that. No, and if you have, just share that with us. Laurel, did you say yes?
So there's a lot of beliefs that I work on, that I work on frequently. Um,
Can I ask you,
I'm trying to think like, like you get
yeah, how,
thoughts in your head, and I'll say, now is that really true? Because sometimes it's
mm-hmm,
just like something that's looping,
yes,
or
yep,
you're
that's it.
catastrophizing or something like that, and it's not really
Yes,
helping.
yeah, yes, yep. So,
So,
so you, so what you've said there, the first part about it is, do I know when I have a belief? A lot of people don't even realize that they're
mm,
running a belief until it's
yeah.
pointed out to them. I see that all the time with my clients. They'll be telling me something, they'll be talking about something, and I can see really clearly what their belief is, but they're not seeing it themselves. So often that can be the first part of understanding about beliefs is, do I know that I have them? And then the second part is, yes, what do I do about them? And for you, Laurel, you're noticing that presenting with your looping thoughts. And then you're reframing, you're using cognitive reframing or self-talk.
Yes, like I've learned about um self, having compassion, like self-compassion,
Mhm.
which I didn't even really know was a thing until I
Yeah,
got into the mind body space and people were like, "Oh, you've got to treat yourself better than that and and have some compassion, self-compassion and everything." And I'm like, "Oh, what's that?" And so I've learned that a lot about that.
yeah,
And that
yeah. That's
and
a
that really helps. It's hard when you haven't had that. But
yes.
if you work at it, then that really, really does help a lot.
Absolutely. It's
Um,
the biggest, and Dr. Schubner talks about this a lot. He says,
yeah,
that's what this is about. It's about self-compassion. It's
yeah,
about understanding yourself, knowing yourself, because each one of us here is a totally unique human being,
mhm,
absolutely unique, each one of us. And for us to get to know ourselves
mhm,
is the biggest part of this. I mean, truly, I'm a totally different person to who I was before
yeah,
I got sick because I know myself now. I didn't
right.
know myself before. I was just bumbling
Yeah,
along,
yeah.
bouncing around everywhere.
That's how
And
I was. And I would just a lot of times put my feelings under so I could keep going. And now I
yes,
stop and I let myself, like, I'll let myself cry or,
wonderful.
when before I would just try to bottle that up so I could keep going.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so that
Unfortunately, that's
that does help
that's
to heal. So it's good that I've learned that.
that's wonderful. And Laurel, I'd really encourage you to get into that workbook. You've got it.
I'm
It's
gonna do
it's
that.
fairly simple.
Right.
Just give yourself a little goal of doing, 1 hour a day. Like earlier, you were saying you were spending 3 hours researching
I
to
know.
fix it. Why not just spend 1 hour a week and go
Right.
through that book. It really
Yeah, I've
is
started reading it, but I
marvelous.
haven't done any of the practices in it. I've got to do that. I
Yeah.
want to do
And
that.
actually,
So,
yeah, it's just reminded me. I didn't have that written down to talk about today, but there's a lot of people who are fully recovering from just reading books. Have you heard
yeah.
about that?
Yeah.
It absolutely fascinates me. And I
Yeah.
heard it recently. And when I was working in drug and alcohol, there were people always talking about this book called Quit Smoking by Alan Carr. And they'd say, oh, people just read the book and they quit.
Yeah.
It fascinated me.
Yeah.
And because I've always been interested in this belief. So, where I first came across it, not long after I got sick, somebody introduced me to Dr. Bruce Lipton and the
Yeah.
biology of belief. Has anyone heard of that? Oh my goodness. They lent me a tape and that completely shifted my thinking. Now, my core belief has always been. And so today we're just going to talk about beliefs around recovery and illness, not so much general beliefs. Okay, so there's general beliefs that we'll have. Like I used to walk around with the belief that I wasn't very smart because English, or I should call it Australian was my second language. And I really struggled at school. I was way behind all the other children. I was older than other children because I started school late and I really struggled. I didn't understand a word they were saying to start with. And so I had this belief that I wasn't very smart and I carried that with me throughout my life. But I never knew I had it. Okay. So this is the thing about beliefs. And then so my core belief about recovery has always been that my body is amazing healing machine. It's very powerful because when I was young, I was very sickly. Like I had been really neglected. Like a lot of you know my story. Lost my mother when I was only 2 years old. I didn't know my father until I was 7 years old, and then I was brought to another country. So I had a lot of trauma to deal with, and I was given to some aunts and uncles to take care of me who already had a big brood of children. As you know, us Indians, we love having children, lots of them. But I was neglected. I was horribly neglected. And so by the time I came to Australia to be with my family, and also I had all these siblings that I didn't know that I had. So suddenly I had this family, I had this father, who's this person, who are all these other people, and I'm the youngest of six. And my siblings always tell me I was very sickly. I was always coughing. I had sores all over my skin and my scalp, and I was just really not in good condition when I arrived. And apparently, they cut all my hair off before I came because that was messed up, full of nits and stuff. So, that's a neglected child, right? But as soon as I got that caring and a home and love and all of that around me, I I completely recovered from all of that, right? So my brain knew from a very early age that my body could overcome, some real difficult times, right? And then I'd had a lot of injuries. I played a lot of sport and very high level sport. So I was always recovering from injuries. So my body was always repairing, always healing. So I had this core belief inside of me that my body could overcome anything. Okay. So when I got sick, I already had that. And then I'm handed this disc in the very early stages of my illness. And some of you may not know, but I've been in this space for 30 years from the time I got sick. So I've seen it all, right? Everything that's come and gone. And so I started listening to Dr. Bruce Lipton. I encourage all of you to listen to the biology of belief. He's an amazing man, right? He's an epigeneticist. So all his work is based in science. And so these beliefs that we have, and in a moment I'm going to ask some of you what those beliefs you may be holding on to, is created by our inner dialogue, our inner narrative. So obviously for me, my inner narrative was my body's amazing. I used to be so ill. I was coughing all the time and I had these sores and this and this and this and I've recovered from all of that. And it wasn't from modern medicine either, right? It wasn't medicine that did that. And so these beliefs are generated by our inner dialogue. Like Laurel was saying, she would notice her looping thoughts. And the looping thoughts would probably be things like I've written down here is, I've got to fix this, right? I have to fix this. There's something wrong with me. My body's broken. And I've got to do the research and find out, and I have to fix it. Yep. So but this is the thing with beliefs. They are a protective mechanism by the brain, right? So whatever belief that you have, please don't feel bad about it because this is your brain protecting you with that belief, okay? But what we don't know and what I didn't know before was that you could change your belief. So just like that belief that I had that I wasn't very smart, and I knew that because I had so much evidence. So this is the other thing with beliefs. You have to have the evidence. The brain needs the evidence for you to continue that belief. So I had lots of evidence I wasn't smart because I struggled at school. I didn't well at school. I never completed anything. It come to exam time and I just drop it all, right? So that was my pattern. And because of this belief that I wasn't very smart. And then later on, it became, I'm not a very good mother. How do I know how to be a mother? I wasn't mothered. How do I know how to be a mother? And I'd be constantly judging myself, criticizing myself, and harsh on myself. Not much of that self compassion, Laurel, I can tell you about my mothering. And yet my children were mortified, absolutely mortified. Mum, stop saying that. You are not a bad mother, right? And I adore my children. I love them. And I think I've done a pretty good job with them, But in my head, I had this belief, good mother. And I'd copy other mothers. I'd watch my friends' mothers and copy them. I'd make the chocolate cake and I'd do all that stuff from watching them. Not my stepmother, by the way. No. So that's another story. So, anyway, beliefs are, yes, you have proofs and you have references because somebody's told you, your doctor may have told you, you're never going to get well, right? If I'd believe that from my doctors, I would not be here. I think I'd be under the ground or out at sea somewhere. I wouldn't be alive. I really believe that. Um, so doctors will instill those beliefs in us. Oh, you better go and have that test. That doesn't look right, and this and that, and you just keep having hundreds and hundreds of tests, right? And our family can instigate those beliefs as well. If you grew up in a family who the slightest little cough you had, the slightest thing that went wrong with you, you were shipped off to the doctors, then that's going to be your belief. Okay. My father, you tiniest little cough, anything was wrong with you, the castor oil came out, right? So I'm one for supplements and looking at nature, looking at plant medicine. I'm big on that because that's what he was about. I'm Indian, so we use Ayurvedic medicine, which is all plant-based medicine. So that's what I still do. That's my first go-to, plant medicine, right? Before I do anything else. And so you will all have your proofs and your references why you have the belief that you have. And then it becomes the second part of it, how it becomes this neural pathway in the brain as a protective mechanism, these beliefs, is we repeat it. We're repeating them consciously and unconsciously. And usually that inner dialogue, it's what we're telling ourselves over and over and over again. Okay. So now I'm really interested in what some of your beliefs are. Please share them. I'll try and check the chats as well. I'd prefer if you could unmute and tell me what your belief is, but go ahead, anyone. Lisa?
Question actually, just when you were finishing that about the neural pathway, the second part in the brain, that you're repeating the belief consciously or unconsciously, and you said that was a protective mechanism. Can you elaborate so I can understand the connection of how that is a protective mechanism?
Okay. So somewhere along the line, like I bought into that belief that I wasn't very smart. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I had all the proofs and evidence that I wasn't smart. I was telling myself internally, and I do remember my poor father, he would be mortified if he realized this because I don't think he meant it intentionally. But, every now and then, I think because I was the youngest as well, he would say to the older kids, "Oh, can you teach Lolita that?" And I would feel kind of dismissed, like I wasn't very smart enough, So sometimes it comes from our parents as well. And so my brain, anything that know, your brain is protecting you from, whether it's physical or emotional, psychological, that's your brain's number one job, is what is safe for Lolita, right? So, but what happens is most of the stuff most of the proofs that we have picked up are false. They are not true, right? They are just programming and conditioning. And this is what Dr. Bruce Lipton talks about. It's not our genes that are causing us to be sick. It's our environment, what we've learned, what we've been told, what we've been repeating in our heads to ourselves. And then the brain uses that to protect you. So, say, for example, Lisa, I'm walking around with this, I'm not very smart, and it comes to exam time and I get full of fear and I can't do it, I'm not smart, blah, blah, blah. And that's actually my brain protecting me because it's fearing it, right? It's whatever we fear, the brain will
Yeah.
protect us. So I'm
Right.
fearing that. So my job was to use tools and techniques to overcome that belief. And I not for a moment now ever think I am not very smart.
Yeah.
And, when I'm doing the training with Dr. Shubin and the other doctors, they're nearly all other doctors and psychologists, psychiatrists, all these super smart people with lots of little titles, after their name. I don't have any of that, but not for a moment do I feel like I'm not smart in that group. And I'm with some of the smartest people on the planet, I believe, because I've changed that belief. Okay. How do we change it? As Rob asked, the practical steps, to change it. First of all, identify it, notice it, notice the stories that you tell yourself about it. Okay. And then you can use the tools like, say, stories, for example. Can somebody share with me a belief that they feel like they have and about their illness, about their recovery, and they know kind of where it comes from? They know the story about it. Anyone?
You know,
Lisa? Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It just actually came up today. I did a bit of tapping around it. So I don't really know which comes first, if it's the aloneness or being sick, but the belief was that when I'm left on my own or when I'm on my own, I get sick. And so
Mhm.
that has been triggered because I'm, as you know, looking to move out. And as I've been looking at apartments and that, been having a lot more symptoms and mast cell stuff. And I think it's
Yes.
that coming up, that fear that when I'm going to be out on my own, I am going to get sicker because I'm going to be
Yes.
isolated and on my own. And I know the
Hmm.
story, like I worked through it today, and it was um, the first recollection I have that is when I was about 2.5 years old. I can't remember again
Hmm.
which came first, if I was sick and throwing up, or if my dad, but somehow my dad was upset with me and I was crying.
Yes.
And I threw up because I was crying so hard.
Oh,
And he told me at 2.5 years old to clean it up. And of course, I didn't know how to do it.
golly.
And I felt very overwhelmed and I felt very
Yeah.
alone. And I felt
Yes.
inadequate, like I didn't know how to cope.
And
Um,
Lisa, you still
yeah,
have a lot of emotions coming up about that now, don't you?
yeah. Well, I just did
So
a tapping this
you
afternoon.
like
It's still.
it looks like there's still something there. So it needs a little bit more than tapping. Okay.
Mhm.
And if you'd like, it'd be a really good way to show everybody just one of these practical ways that you can work on a belief.
Okay.
Okay. You happy to do that with
Yeah.
us?
Do you want me to stay on video or should I go
Thank
off
you.
or?
Yeah, no, I love you to stay on video if you can.
Okay.
Thank
Okay.
you. And so,
Yeah.
everyone, what you could see there was Lisa was able to, and Lisa, would you say it's because you've been really doing this work and understanding the mind body and how our brain works that's helping you to uncover some of these things?
Yes. I mean, I haven't, as you know, because I'm busy with moving out and finding places, I haven't had a lot of time to do the work, but I'm committed to the
No, but
work.
I
So
mean,
it's still there and I'm aware. And I think my girlfriend said when I talked to her today, she said, I think the fact that you are looking for a place and looking to move out has triggered that memory. Whereas if you weren't doing that, it
of
probably would have just
course,
stayed down there and,
that's
and wouldn't
right.
be dealing
That's
it.
right. So
So it was
it's a
coming up
gift.
today and I knew what it was. And I thought,
Yes,
okay, started to feel the overwhelm. I thought, no, I know how to do, I did what I knew how to do in the moment. What would
yeah,
Lolita walk me through? And, I
yeah,
got a lot
yeah,
out,
yeah.
but yeah,
Okay. So
yeah.
there's two ways. So for all of you, and if you have any questions about this, please ask me because I need to know that you kind of understand the mechanism of this. Okay. So once we understand what our beliefs are, then we can start looking a little bit deeper at the story. Where did this come from? Was it because my mother always used to say that just take a pill for it, just let's go to the doctor. Or, um, somebody in the family may have always been sick. And so that's just normal and natural for you to be sick and understand that people get sick and they don't get well, right? Or they get sick and they die. Whatever it is, whatever belief that you have, see if you can get to what it is. Now, once you find out what it is, and I'm happy to help all of you to find out what those beliefs are, Then you can use a couple of different tools. Number one, I always recommend EAET, Dr. Schubner's gold standard evidence-based practice. It outshines all the others in emotional processing, right? EAET, emotional awareness and expression therapy. All right. And I'm going to go through with that with Lisa now. The other way you can do it is journaling. So once you work out what that belief is, go ahead and journal about it. Okay. And you can watch my version of journaling is a little bit different. What I do, you can see that on my YouTube, or I can post it in the group as well. That might be easy for people to find. So journaling will help, right? And when you're journaling, you're making sure that you stop and you process the emotions as they rise as you're journaling. Now, I've had a couple of people recently who are unable to, because they're bedbound or other reasons, they are unable to do journaling. They're unable to write things out. I encourage them to do the audio. So you can go on to Google Docs, and there's a feature there you can turn on. I think it's talk to text, and you can just talk into it and it'll write it out for you, right? One of the reasons why we want to journal is because it, like you were saying, Laurel, it helps you to do that allowing. It helps you to have some distance from it. So often when we're with our symptoms, we kind of right in there with all the seven F's that Dr. Schubner talks about, with the fear, with the focus, with the frustration, I just want to fix it, all of that's going on. When we journal, it just takes us a little bit further back from it, out of our head and onto the paper. Okay. So it's very, very, very helpful with these processes. And then the other way is EAET, which is the emotional release work, which we'll get to when Lisa comes back. While we're waiting for Lisa, is there anyone else who needs help to identify a belief, or would you like to share a belief with us? Because whatever you share, it's going to help others as well. Anyone else?
I'm back. Sorry, I had to go to the washroom.
It's someone else. Anyone else like to share their beliefs? A couple here that I've come across since I've been working. The doctor told me there was no cure, that one, right? We all love that one. Thanks, Doc. I'm too old to recover. I've heard people say, oh, I'm too old to recover now. I don't think those brain things will work for me.
Or been sick too
I'm too
long. That's
severe.
mine. Been
Yeah.
sick too long, right?
Yeah, yes. I'm too severe. I have several
Yeah.
people who say, oh no, I'm more severe than anybody else in the group here. I can't recover. I'm sensitive, I'm highly sensitive, and I'm this and I'm that. And that's a challenging core belief, to overcome. Okay. Another one I've heard is, yeah, my body's just broken. I'm in so much pain. The X-rays are showing this and that, and I'm just too broken. Um, I'll never get better is another one. Um, I can't trust my body.
I'm afraid
If
to
I
get
push,
better.
if I push myself, I'll make things worse. My life is over. How about that one? That's a great belief to be walking around with, right? I just want my old self back. I know I'm never going to be the same. I should be further along by now is another one I've heard. I'm a burden to others. Oh, that was a big one for me. I'm just a burden. Before I got sick, I was the one who held everything together and held everything up and did everything for everybody, not just my big family and my work, but the community and friends and everyone, my family. I held it all together, right? So when I got sick, I'm a burden to everyone. My symptoms control my life. My nervous system is damaged. Oh, I've heard that one before. Wow, that's a biggie. I need to be symptom free before I can be happy. And I'm weak because I can't do what I used to do. Anybody relate to that's just a few, right? Ah, yes, that's a good one, Lena. There must be something the doctors have missed, right? You've done hundreds of tests and they show nothing. And some of the tests are quite invasive. People are going and having like a lumbar puncture and things like that. Really invasive. Um, but they're still missing something. There must be another test, right? That's a real tricky one. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so in any other beliefs that anybody wants to share? Otherwise, we'll go in and help Lisa with this. Is there any questions about the EAET and journaling? And both of those you'll find in the book, okay, as well, and on my YouTube. So I might just get everybody to mute. Punima, welcome. Can I just get you to
Hi.
mute, please,
Um,
while I'm working with Lisa? So Lisa's been very kind.
sorry. I'm trying.
Thank you. Okay, Lisa. So yeah, all those emotions when you were talking about that memory, rose up. Now they've gone down, but whenever you know the emotions rise when you're thinking about something, guys, when you're thinking about your beliefs, when you're being triggered, work on them right then and there. That's the most important part about this work, because the brain is, and in Dr. Schubner's book, I believe he has a chapter on Hegg's law. Have a look at that. Hegg's law is when the brain is wiring and firing information together, you have a little window of opportunity to change that neural pathway. So Lisa's neural pathway was just telling her something right there and then and there. And that would have been her ideal moment to immediately use a heat of the moment tool. There's lots of heat of the moment tools that you'll see in my YouTube videos. If you don't know those, there's some breath work, there's some very simple tapping technique. I've been a tapper for uh, what, more than 20 years, over 20 years. And so I just use tapping in a very simple, easy way. So I teach that. And there's a couple of other tools and techniques that you can use in the heat of the moment as you feel those emotions. And you can do that as I'm helping Lisa to work through this. If you're triggered and you notice your emotions rising up, please use those tools in the moment, all right? Because that is magic. All right, so Lisa, when
Yeah.
you're ready,
Yeah.
just close your eyes and just take a few nice long breaths in and out. And just notice the seat underneath you, your feet on the floor. Notice your shoulders relaxing with each breath. Muscles in your face relaxing. And what I'd like you to do is just travel back in time to that memory, Lisa, which you've just realized now been triggered because you're moving house. You're moving from where you've been taken care of, where you've been looked after, venturing out on your own, and this loneliness feeling, you felt that. Notice where you feel that loneliness. So, all of you, when you notice an emotion, one of the first things you want to do is get in touch with where that is in your body. Just notice where that feeling of loneliness is in your body, Lisa. And can you tell us about that, where you feel it?
Going back, you mean, kind of thing. Yeah. In my heart and in my belly, my
Mhm.
gut.
Good, good. And then once you do notice it, just give yourself a bit of a rating, how bad it is, how strong it is. Good. What's happening, Lisa? It's getting stronger.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. And this
Yeah.
happens as well because we haven't been aware of it. We haven't been aware where it is in the body. And it's also like Laurel was saying, when we feel that loneliness feeling, we usually just brush it aside, don't we? All of us, we just brush it aside and we just move on, get on with it. We
Yeah.
might have a little bit of a cry, but that's about it, right? But
Yeah.
what you want to do with this mind body practice is
Mhm.
really get in touch with it and notice where it is in your body,
Okay.
and then notice how strong it is. And when you do that, just like with Lisa, it will increase. Now, don't be afraid of that, guys. Don't be afraid of it, okay? Because then we're going to move along. All right. So, Lisa, you
Yeah.
felt the loneliness feeling
Mhm.
in your body, and then you have this memory. You were two and a half
Pain.
years old, just a little girl, and
Mhm.
you're sick, you're unwell. But your dad, he's got something going on. He's not being so kind. He's not being so loving.
Mhm.
And he tells you to clean it up. 2.5-year-old tells you to clean it up, right? So what I want you to do is just be a butterfly on the wall and watch that little girl who's sick, who feels afraid and alone, and her dad is just not giving her any care or comfort.
Mhm.
Okay? Just notice that. You'll see an image if you see images. If you don't see images, guys, just imagine it. Imagine a small child, how they would look and how they would feel if they were scared and frightened and sick. All right? So now what we want to do, Lisa, to
Mhm.
process the emotions is look at your father now as an adult, and you're going to speak for that small child. You're going to speak for 2.5-year-old Lisa, who at the time really couldn't say anything or do anything. All she could do was cry and feel that feeling in her belly, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Now, what would you like to say to your father? Use your voice when you're doing this, guys. Use your tone of your voice. And you can also use your body. Like if it's anger, you want to make some fists.
Okay.
Is there anger there, Lisa? Do you feel
Yes.
angry? Yeah, make some
Yes.
fists.
Yeah.
And I want you to roar like a lion. Can you do that? Yeah, get that anger out, right? Because that's what you wanted to do then.
I
Because
hate
anger
you.
is protection.
I hate you. I don't know how
And
to do this. You're supposed to do this. You're supposed to do this. You're supposed to help me. You're supposed to take care of me. I don't know how to do this. I'm only 2.5. I hate you. You're so mean to me. Why are you always so mean to me? What did I ever fucking do to you? Why are you always so unkind to me? You're always so mean to me. I hate you. I'm getting sharp pains in my tummy.
wow, good, Lisa. Good, good. It's been there for a long time. Get it out. Say everything
I'm
that little
trying,
girl needed to say.
I'm trying to pick it up, but I don't know how. You do it. Don't get angry at me. You're the adult, not me. For Christ's sakes. This is your job as a father. Put it on me. You're so unkind. You're so nasty. I hate you. I hate the way you treat me.
Good. Push
You
him
never
away.
love
Give
it.
him a good push. Get away
Fuck out
from
of my
me.
face. I hate how you treat me. You're so mean
Good.
to me. You've hurt me so much. You have no idea.
Good. And every now and then, when you're doing this work, you can stop and just go to your breath. Okay? Just breathe. And then go back to it. Okay? You go back to it. You check in what's happening in your body, Lisa.
Yeah.
Some pain
Sharp.
there, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, sometimes when this happens, when it's really strong in your body,
Yeah.
the nicest, the most self-compassion thing you can do is place your hand there and just speak to that part of yourself, Lisa.
Okay.
What would you like to say to that part? It's been there for a long time.
I can feel the tension in your tummy. It's like you're it's like you're holding back being sick. It's like you're holding everything in. And it's like stabbing at your tummy.
It's
Just
wanting you
relax.
to take notice. It's doing this for you to take notice. So
Right.
let it know that you're taking notice now. You're listening now.
Okay.
You
I
can
can
care for
hear.
yourself now.
Okay. I can hear what you're trying to say to me. I can feel the tightness, the stabbing sensation, and I'm here to release that for you and soften that for you.
Breathe in, breathe into it.
Just let it all go, all this tension and stuckness in your abdomen, all these emotions that you've been wanting for me to listen to all this time.
Good,
Everything that I
good.
just thought was in my head is
Yeah.
actually also in my body. These
And in your
emotions are
heart,
showing up in my
right?
body too. Sorry, what did you say, Lolita?
In your heart. Remember, you said you felt that loneliness. You felt that right there in your heart. And
Yes.
this is where the self-compassion part comes in.
Yeah.
Speaking to ourselves with love, being our own carer, being our own medicine man or whatever it is that we need.
I just love you so much. You've been through so much. And you're still here, still standing after 36 years of chronic illness, of isolation, of loneliness, of so many traumas and hits to your nervous system.
You've been so brave, so courageous.
Yes, so brave and
And
courageous.
and how can you turn this belief around, Lisa? What could you practice now saying to yourself, repeating to yourself a more helpful belief?
Um, that even when I'm on my own, I have the tools and the self-compassion and the strength and the courage to get me through whatever feelings arise and get me through it and out the other side
And
stronger
thrive and thrive
and
and have a
thrive.
wonderful
What is
life.
that? Gotta live
Yeah.
first, then thrive. Yeah.
Love my life, enjoy my life. It's up to
Yes.
me now. It's up to me, and
Yes.
I can do it. I can do this. When you've changed to that new belief, it must have a lot of emotion in it, right? Put that emotion into it. See it, visualize it, picture it. See the life that you're going to have living in your own little apartment, watching the birds, going for walks and doing all the things that you love, visualize it.
Like
Okay.
I visualize it, but it's like the fear comes up. It's like this fear, well, whatever. Just
Then go to the fear when you're
okay.
doing that, when you're doing the visualization, when you're trying to maximize the good feeling and the fear
Okay.
pops in, go to it immediately and address it. Notice
Okay.
the fear,
Yeah.
notice where it is in your body. What's that fear trying to tell you?
It's trying to tell me that it's overwhelming being on your own.
Yes,
That's what it's
overwhelming.
trying to tell me. So my body's afraid of that
So
because it's
that's kind of another belief, isn't it? It's going to be overwhelming on your own.
because it was in the past, right? I was left with all this
Yes,
being sick,
yes,
throwing up, and trying to deal with it at 2.5. That was overwhelming to my
right.
brain.
Absolutely overwhelming.
Yeah.
So now we go back to that memory because that's
Okay.
where it stems from, and then it's built on that, hasn't it? It's built and built and built on that.
Yeah.
So go
Because
back
there's
to
the
that
other.
little girl now,
Okay. Yep.
okay?
Yep.
And I want you to look at her and look at your father in the memory. So you've had all this to say to him. How does he look now? What's the expression on his face?
Anger,
Anger.
aggression. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And how's the little girl looking at him with all that anger and aggression on his face?
I feel like disdain. I feel like unloved,
Yes.
unworthy,
Yeah, yeah.
like a
So now
nuisance.
you need
A
so
nuisance.
now you need to tell him about the feelings, what you're
Okay.
feeling as you're looking at his angry face. Tell him, when you have that angry face, when
Yeah.
you speak to me like that, I feel,
Okay. So when you have that look in your face of like disgust in me, this angry look in your face and this anger and this aggression, I feel unloved. I feel invisible. I feel like disgusting. I feel like I'm a piece of dirt. I feel unworthy. I feel unlovable. I feel invisible. It just
good,
hurts my heart so deeply. You have no fucking idea. And it continues to this day. And I'm fucking sick of it. Sick of
good,
it. It's like I did nothing to
good,
deserve this. It's your issue. You can't deal with kids. You don't know how to father. You don't know how to nurture.
good,
Stop
good.
dumping your crap on me. It's not mine to carry anymore.
Good, Lisa. And now what we can do is use a little exercise that helps us to understand the other person. So what I want you to do now is step on over
Yeah.
and just be in your dad's body for a minute. Walk in his shoes. You know his history, you know about him, you know why he would be doing this. Okay? What's happening for your dad? What is it that makes it so hard for him to be with children?
Because it triggers his unmet and abusive, traumatizing childhood with the separation of his family, being at
Yes.
boarding school. And it's like, I feel it's like I feel I carry his pain, and that's why my pain is
Yeah.
so heavy because it's
As
not
well.
mine.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
because I'm
Yeah.
empathic, and
Yeah.
so I absorb all of that from him because he
Yeah.
directs it
So
at me.
let's see if we can give your dad what he needed back there. Okay, because like
Yeah,
you said, you have the tools, you have the skills, you have the understanding and knowing now,
yeah,
and you can see very clearly that I'm also carrying his pain,
yeah.
right? What can we give to your dad back there as a little boy? I want you to see him as a little boy growing up, not
Yeah.
getting his needs met. He's living this trauma. How could you help him? What could you give him? Or somebody else? What is it that he needs?
He needs to know that he is worthy, that he is loved,
Yes.
and that he has people here to care for him when he's sad and scared at boarding school on his own at 8 years old.
Yes.
That he can go to somebody, he can go to an adult and share his fear and share his loneliness and know that he will be comforted and made to
Good.
feel safe and loved, and that his feelings are okay and that he's okay. And it's normal to feel this way when you're away from your family, and you don't have to suck it up anymore. Stuff it all inside.
Good, Lisa. Okay. Is there somebody that you can give him? Who do
Somebody
you
that I can
think
what? Sorry?
who do you think he needs? Who could you give to him?
His mom.
His mum. Good, good.
His mom.
Okay. Yeah. She'll
Because
listen to him.
I think he also
She'll
had a
comfort.
nanny. Like he didn't have a mom. I don't think his mom was
Mm-hmm.
there much growing up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think
Okay.
he just his mom. Yeah.
So just watch him now receiving what he needed, everything he needed, just like that 2.5 year old, right? What she needed. Now he's getting what he needed. And can you see him differently now? Can you picture him differently? Is he okay?
I think he just needs to cry a lot and get all his emotions out.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And when he's crying, somebody who can be there and hold him, to comfort him, to show him love and compassion.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to do it alone.
No.
Right? He
Yeah.
doesn't have to do it alone. You don't have to do it alone.
Yeah.
How is he now that he's getting his needs met? He has someone with him. He's
He's
comforted. Yeah, good,
softening.
good.
His
Yeah,
his protective walls are softening,
good. Is
and
there
he's received.
anything else that he needs?
Um, well, he needs like to be held and hugged and just.
Can you do that with him in that image, in that memory? Can
Mm-hmm.
you give him a hug?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
reach out and give him a hug and
Yeah.
feel his arms around you, that little boy,
Yeah.
and you around him, and hold him tight and just
Yeah.
whisper in his ear anything else he needs to hear,
Let's see.
and listen carefully to him. He has some messages for you. He wants you to receive these messages so that you can move forward with your life and live the life that you want to live, whole and complete, thriving, living the life that you deserve.
Yeah.
Just receive those messages and feel them in every cell in your body. Let them be there as you're held and loved and cared for. And just feel him drifting into your heart. Place your hand on your heart and feel him right there with you, the 2.5 year old, the adult you, and he'll always be there with you. safe, protected, loved, cherished, everything that you need. Empowered, strong, courageous as you move forward. And when you're ready, just coming back to the room, opening your eyes slowly, looking around, moving your eyes around the room, noticing something in your room. Well done, Lisa. Well done. If you need to go to your breath, just breathe. It's a lot there to release, a lot there that's been there for a long time. Were you surprised how strong it was in your body, that pain?
Yes.
Yeah, very deep. Now, the last part of this, guys, to do the checking is, Lisa, I want you to just close your eyes and I want you to look at that little girl, 2.5 years old now. Is she ready now to walk away from this significant event in her life? Can she walk away from it and be okay with it? Or is there anything else she needs to give that little girl? And it's about this moving forward, even on my own. It's about that.
I just feel
So
very I feel somatically I feel very shaky still.
okay. And
I
so
feel
you
very
you did
lightheaded.
some shaking
Just starting to
shaking
shake my
out.
hands. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
you can shake it out.
I think just
And also
yeah.
just go to your
Yeah.
breath. So close your eyes again
Okay. I just feel very
and
lightheaded. Oh,
just take
oh.
some breaths. Ready? Deep breath in, another short one, and then all the way out. And another one. One more. Deep breath in, short, all the way out. And just notice your muscles relaxing. Notice everything relaxing. Now,
Oh.
sometimes this will happen if there's lots and lots of other references, lots of other memories, lots of other times in your life where you may have felt the same way. All right. But what you want to do is to complete it, Lisa,
Yeah.
is what can we give her now? What can we give that little 2.5-year-old now so that she's okay until she can do some more work? What does she need to know? What would you like to tell her?
That she can handle all of this that's coming up.
Yes, it
And
is overwhelming. It's very overwhelming, but that she's going to be okay.
yeah.
And you
And I
help
think,
her
yeah.
to get in touch again and to do more work again, and
Yeah.
that she will be okay.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah. Yes. We will
Okay,
continue our work. Yes.
good. Because it's
And
still there
what
in the body. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I feel it more like in my body than in my head. Like the
So it's
emotions came out and then
shifting,
it's like, yeah, it's
shifting through the body.
vibratory. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And
And
you
a
can
lot of
do
it,
things like get up and dance. You can
yeah.
put some music on and get up and
Mhm.
dance and
Yeah.
shake and,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
if you're feeling it all in your body, guys. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I think
any questions? Anyone have any questions about that? Did anyone get triggered? Were you able to work through yourself? Okay. And so what you can do, I've kept it short with Lisa because we're running out of time. But what you can do when you're doing it on your own, and I have a script that I can share with you all if you want to do the work on your own. And I always recommend that you start with a minor one, right? Start with something small and then use those safety tools, mechanisms to keep yourself safe as you're doing it. And remind yourself that it's not happening now. This is just all in your imagination. It's happening. It's all in your memories. It's happening. And memories are also, as you saw very clearly with Lisa, very much in her body. And Lisa's done a lot of work on herself. She's been doing this stuff for years. And there it is, still, a lot of it is still there somatically in the body. So we've got to address that, okay? And just by going to your breath, by tapping, you can do as well, by getting up, shaking, dancing, just anything to help the nervous system get back into regulation. All right. So any questions is if that is particularly if this is the first time that you have done anything like this. EAET, that was, okay.
I have a question unrelated to this when, if you've answered anybody else's questions.
Anyone have a question about the actual process?
That's the same process you used to change a bad memory in the past too, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yep, that's right. And so
That's my
as
first
you saw with
experience with
Lisa,
you, like
yeah, yeah.
quite a while ago. And I didn't even have the belief that it was going to work, and it did, and it wowed me. So that's why I
Good,
keep
good.
coming back to you because I was so wowed by it.
Because the
And still
brain,
now, I
be wowed by your brain, Laurel.
yeah, it was
Right?
so
Be wowed
crazy.
by your brain, guys. Your brain can make these changes. And
Yeah.
one of the reasons why we work on this emotional part and the memory part is because the brain is still using that as a protective mechanism. So while Lisa's walking around with all this feeling of loneliness deep in her heart and this emotional pain, her brain is going to keep going, you're in danger, you're in danger, you're in danger. I must
Yeah.
give you a symptom to protect you, to keep you safe. You can't move out on your own. You can't do that. It's
Right,
telling you have to stay here. You have to
right.
stay with these other people, right? And you'll believe that because you feel it. Beliefs are very real and you
Yeah,
feel them deeply in your body. But you've got to challenge these beliefs, guys. Challenge them all if you want to recover, honestly.
yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Um, so if you, like Lisa, probably needed to go back to that several more times
Mhm.
and see if there's anything else left that she needed to say to her father. What did that little girl need? You check in with the child and see what else do they need to bring in that self-compassion.
Right.
And there's several, ways of doing that, going back and forth until you get everything out. All right. And remember, all of this is just in your imagination. Like Lisa's not going to go to her father and say all that stuff. No, because she's a kind, loving, caring person. But we've got to do it in our imagination. Right.
Mm.
I've heard people do all kinds of things like line them all up in a firing squad. Do you know?
Mm.
Just all kinds of things. You'll hear Dr. Schubner talk about some of the things that he imagined that he was going to do, go and slash the tires of this person's car and all kinds of things you can do in your imagination. All right.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. To your perpetrator, and you've got every right to. Do you know anybody who's been a perpetrator in your life? And sometimes, unfortunately, it's the people whom we most need to care for us, most need to love us. Right? And I had to do a lot of this work with my mother, even though she you know was gone by the time I was 2, but I was angry with her. I was really
Yeah.
angry with her for leaving me,
Yeah.
right? So I had to get that out of me.
Yeah.
I had to really, really grieve then, and I was angry with my father. So I had to get all that stuff out in my imagination only. Okay. So you do this, you can do journaling about your beliefs. Okay. They're the two most effective ways that I have found. And in the moment, like Laura was saying, when you notice in the moment you've got that looping thought, oh, there I go again, telling myself, my body's broken, then use a heat of the moment tool as well. So really you've got 3 different ways there. Okay. And if anybody's used anything else, please share them with us. So Lisa, yep.
Yeah, it's a totally unrelated question. You might get upset with me after everything you've just done, but it was something that I had written down that I wanted to ask today because I'm still,
First of all, can I just interrupt you? Can
yeah,
you make sure that you go back to that memory several more times and check in
okay,
and make sure that you release everything and
okay,
say all the things that you need to say? And then to
okay,
complete it, you'll be able to see yourself walking away from it with your head held up high, shoulders back, big smile on your face. Once you can do that, you know that, oh, my brain has rewired that neural
okay,
pathway. All right.
okay.
Can you do that
Thank
for me?
you.
Yep. So
Yeah,
go
absolutely.
ahead.
Yeah,
Fire me with
yeah.
this nasty question.
Okay, it was just something that I'd asked you before, I think. So going back to the past, when I contracted this severe tropical viral illness that apparently caused some encephalitis at the time, but was not diagnosed at the time, and a doctor has suspected some tissue damage. The MRI shows atrophy to a certain part of the brain, which that part of the brain is used for signaling to the brain, the prefrontal cortex, etc. So my question is, are you saying that if I work on the emotional event that occurred at the time of that environmental hit, and
Yes.
we clear it, right? Whatever emotional issues and abandonment, whatever
Yes.
were going on with
Yes.
that, and we
What
clear
what
it.
they told you, what that doctor told you,
Okay,
what they
or that
didn't
too,
tell you,
right?
what they
Will
didn't
the
check
brain,
for. Yeah.
yeah, will the brain tissue heal without any interventions with peptides by clearing the emotional event that's attached to it? That's what I'm trying to understand when you talk about this work sometimes. Like physical
Now it's
structural
now it's
injury.
very yeah, it's very interesting that you bring that up because I'm not
Okay.
sure if anybody else can pick up a very strong belief here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Anybody else notice it? I'd really love your input. And anyone see the belief? Can you see the belief, Lisa?
No, I can't. That's why I'm asking the questions.
I'm a great detective when it comes to beliefs, I
I
tell you.
know. That's why I said you're gonna this nasty question.
Okay, so it sounds like there to me that you believe that the atrophy that the scan has shown
Yeah.
is hindering your recovery.
Yes. Yes, that's my
Yeah.
belief. Or yeah, that
And
it's
and the
contributing to. Mhm.
the atrophy can't be resolved or
Restored,
on its own, or that the atrophy is actually, causing the problem.
not causing the
Which
whole problem, but contributing, put it that way, to the
contributing.
dysregulation or not
Yeah,
being able
so
to
the
do certain
atrophy
things.
is
Yeah.
contributing. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's my belief.
So, yeah, that's a very strong belief, and it will
Hmm.
get in the way of you recovering. So, I would do this. Imagine just like for me, right? All my scans and MRIs and everything showed horrific damage
Oh,
in
I didn't
my
know that.
spine,
Oh,
right?
okay.
Um, but I don't, but and that is still there. Like I have all of that still in my spine, right?
Okay.
I'm not going to, and I don't even really care that damage is still there to my facet joints and to, to
Hmm.
my disc and blah, blah, blah. I'm pretty sure that if I went and had another scan now, it would probably still show it, right?
Right.
But I don't really care about that because I don't have any pain
Right.
from doing the mind body work. I don't have any
Right.
pain there, so I don't really care about it.
Right. Right. Right.
Right. So it sounds like to me your belief is that atrophy is contributing to what?
Hmm. Um, the disorder, the autonomic nervous system dysregulation contributing to, not causing it all.
Yes,
We know
yes.
there's other things that contribute
Contributing
to it
to it.
too. Yes,
Yeah. And
contributing to
which
it.
part is contributing? How is it contributing? What is it actually doing?
Um, well, I guess when I looked it up, what in the past, what that meant as far as functioning, it affects your executive functioning. It affects the signaling from the brain to the front part of the brain. It's a signaling issue that when there's atrophy, just like
Signaling
in the
issue.
mold illness, right? There's inflammation, there's atrophy. I mean, Dr. Heyman talks about it, and that has to be
Mhm.
healed, or they heal it with peptides. I mean, maybe the brain retraining stuff heals it, but that's what he
And
used.
Lisa, I was told that I needed an 8-hour spinal operation
Hmm.
to fix my problem,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
was even told that if I didn't have it fixed by the
Hmm.
neurosurgeons, that I would just wake up and I'd be paralyzed
Yeah.
and I wouldn't be able to walk, right? It's really
Right.
scary stuff. Absolutely
Absolutely.
nothing wrong with me.
Yeah.
Same problem is still there, but nothing
Yeah.
wrong with me,
Right.
right?
Okay. Yeah.
So you've got some work to do there,
Yeah.
around that belief.
Yeah.
And I would say that the pinnacle of it, the point of it is where I sensed the most emotion was what they didn't tell you. They didn't pick that up. They didn't tell me that. So you've got a lot of anger there to deal with, right? Release all of that.
Yeah.
And then also what the other doctor did tell you, like,
Yeah.
there's atrophy there now, and that's impacting your nervous system.
Well, she didn't tell me
Okay.
that. I interpret that
Yeah, yeah.
myself.
Well, you like being your own doctor,
I know. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Okay.
So yeah, now be your own doctor, Lisa, but be a kinder doctor, be more loving doctor to yourself, be a more compassionate doctor, be a more hopeful doctor to yourself. Okay,
Yeah.
not the scary doctors, which I all had.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure. Can you see that belief clearly now that you're
Yeah.
holding on to?
Yeah. And
That
I
that
think the
it's
reason I hold on to it is,
contributing.
yeah.
It's contributing to it. And also you're kind of telling yourself that your nervous system is not very, what? I don't want to put words in your mouth. You're
Yeah.
saying something about your nervous system. You're limiting the
Yes.
the power of your nervous system to
Yeah.
heal and repair and to
My
rewire.
my nervous system is damaged, and so that's why it's having a hard time
There,
recovering or
there you
whatever, right?
go.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's probably the core belief there. My
Yeah.
nervous system is damaged because it's
Yeah.
not getting this signaling,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
you don't really have the proof. There's really
Well,
nothing to
but
really
can I just say
prove
the
that.
proof to me is okay, I'm still learning with this emotional work, right? How it impacts our brain. I'm in the process, right, of learning the thing. But
You're
what,
well and truly in it, yes.
yeah, but what I guess I experience so much of, whether you want to call it mast cell, coagulation, vascular, whatever, I get a lot of like I told you this before, I get a lot of wonky sensations up here in my
Lightheadedness,
head, in the
yes.
hypothalamus. I get droopy eyes, like my eyes will get droopy if I've like
Yeah,
reacted to something.
yeah.
I get
I
whether
would
they're
use
mast cell,
so
I
the
don't know.
Yeah, so the other thing that I didn't really get a lot into, another practical, so what you've heard there, Lisa, describing all those
Yeah.
symptoms, I would be using somatic tracking. That's a really good tool because now that's all become a conditioned response, Lisa. Your brain is predicting that, right?
Okay.
So I'd be doing some somatic tracking.
Is
Use
that the
that.
handout you gave me where I breathe and then I scan my body? Is that somatic tracking?
No, somatic
Oh,
tracking's different. I can send you a document on that.
thank you.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
Okay.
like to use somatic tracking for, pinpoint one thing
Mm.
and just use it for that. So there's
Mm-hmm.
kind of an overarching somatic tracking. So basically, what you're doing with somatic tracking, so I could hear it in your voice and I could see it with you. There's a real deep belief there. There's something wrong with me, and it could be that
Mm-hmm.
other thing, and
Mm-hmm.
it's my nervous system, and so there'll be a lot of fear there,
Mm-hmm.
right? Whole lot of
Mm-hmm.
fear.
Mm-hmm.
And you've probably focused on it a lot. You've probably gotten very frustrated with it. You've obviously been trying to fix it,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a really what you want to do with somatic tracking is learning, teaching the brain and unlearning the fear,
Okay.
right? You're unlearning all that fear and frustration and everything else. And that's what somatic tracking will do. Every time you notice it, you're
Mm-hmm.
using the somatic tracking to signal back to the brain, actually, I'm not in danger. Yes, that person said that, and I believe this, but I'm okay. I'm not in
Yeah.
danger.
It
Yeah.
seems to come from taking supplements or tinctures, and I don't know if it's like a mast cell
Yeah.
that's
So as
reacting,
soon
saying
as
there's
soon
a
as you
threat, you know?
as soon as you take a supplement and that happens, immediately do the somatic tracking. So
Okay.
you can so what you're doing, you have a nice strong neural pathway for
Yeah.
that belief, a very
Okay.
strong one, I'd say, deep
Yep.
seated, because you've done so much of the trying to fix it, right?
Exactly.
And
Yep.
so it'll be very, very deep. And so what you want to do is each time you interrupt that neural circuit, it'll get weaker and weaker and less, and it'll
Okay.
bother you less.
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
makes
Great.
sense.
Awesome.
I've
Yep.
I've
Yep.
rushed through it a bit, but
No, that's fine.
okay. So, beliefs. If anyone wants to learn a little bit more, check out Biology of Belief.